Hi, I'm Sully. I'm building a barn this summer and I need your help.
In constant sorrow through his day.
Here is the barn that I've designed so far, and I would love to get any of your comments regarding how it looks or how you think it's going to function. Mainly the barn will be constructed out of timber. It has a corrugated metal roof across the entire structure. This short dimension here, it will be 24 feet long, and then in the long direction it is 48 feet. In addition, we have these open air awnings on the side. Those will be another 8 or 10 feet wide, and that will give an outdoor space where you can do any work, but with cover from the rain. Now I've based everything on an 8-foot grid spacing. All of these columns, and you'll see on the interior, is an 8-foot spacing, and that's so that we can use 4x8 sheets of plywood without having to do any substantial cutting on site. All of these pieces are going to be fabricated and set up without really any access to electricity, so we're really trying to minimize the use of power tools, and that is especially important when cutting large objects like sheets of plywood. If I turn off the roof, you can see that the main structure is built out of these heavy timber trusses. And these trusses, the shape of this roof is known as a gambrel roof, and that basically allows you to span a further distance. Well, it has a nice shape to it, but then it also provides a large area for a second story. So you can see that I have this kind of loft structure within those timber trusses. It's a fairly utilitarian structure, as you would expect for a barn, but I've added a couple of architectural features that I think will make it a lot nicer inside. So as you can see, I have this porch on the back, as well as this clear story of windows running along the entire barn, and that will let in any daylight onto the inside and really make the space feel a lot more open. In addition, this slanted part of the roof here, this is facing south, so that would be the perfect place in the future to add some solar panels if we want to generate electricity on site. Now I'm going to zoom out and show you how the location of the barn relates to the rest of our property. So the front of the barn faces directly at the road, and that road makes up the front corner of our property. And it's situated basically at the lower end of what's currently a large wild meadow. And this will eventually be the best area for food production on the property, so it makes sense for the barn to be close to that front corner. If I turn on our property lines, you'll see that this is basically the area where I was filming in the second location of my last video. And if you remember, there's a steep drop-off, so locating the barn here will ensure that it's up and out of any potential flooding that could occur from the creek. Then I've also designed that back porch to cantilever out from the rest of the structure, so it will really make you feel elevated above the land below, and it will be a great outdoor space to sit and work or read, basically to relax while listening to the stream below. Let me zoom out a little bit more and show you how this relates to the overall property. So the barn is in the very front portion, which is just 5 acres until you get to the stream, and then the main wooded section is behind, and that will be the area that we eventually, probably in here, devote towards building a cabin. So part of the idea of building the barn this summer will be to give us a place to work and to really craft the pieces that will go into a future cabin structure. I'm going to zoom back in and turn off these background maps that I have. Now, other uses of the barn, the main floor structure can of course be used for parking, so this is designed basically to be able to fit 2 cars wide, and we'll have plenty of room to have a total of 4 cars fit within the space. This back area can also be used for maintenance and for any kind of craft projects. I think that the loft will be well suited to be a woodworking area, but any larger pieces, especially any large tools like a table saw, would be better situated on the ground floor below that loft. That will make it a lot easier to bring in the large tools as well as to bring in any of the pieces like full sheets of plywood. And then when any projects are smaller size, such as finishing or building a small piece of furniture, that can be done on the loft area with the nice porch on the back here. Now this summer we don't plan to build everything. Let me turn off the layers that we won't be building. Basically, we're going to be erecting just a shell, so it won't have any walls or any of these details that we've been looking at. So essentially what we're left with is just an open-air pavilion. This will be a lot easier and I think is a manageable portion to build in our first summer. Then in 2014 I'm going to return to the property and build all of those other features that I just turned off. Now this construction plan is going to work because it's designed as a pole barn. As you can see here, all of the weight of the structure is carried on these timber columns, and those are embedded approximately 5 feet in the ground, and that's so that the foundation will be well below the frost line to avoid any frost heave problems that you get in very cold climates like northern Vermont. Now this design also allows the barn to stand without needing any walls, so when wind blows through on the structure and tries to push it over, these columns embedded so deep will allow the whole thing to remain stable. So that's my plan for a barn, and I would love to hear your thoughts. What items did you like or maybe dislike? And was there anything that I forgot to mention entirely? Please let me know in the comments below. In my next video, I'm going to go over how we actually plan to build the barn. And that should be interesting because I don't plan to use any heavy machinery, just hand tools, human power, and a lot of long days and hard work, I'm sure. Thanks for watching.